Hello, hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of Market Leader Live. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren M. Palmer. Excited to be with you for another episode where we hear from industry titans who are getting it done. These aren't people who are just taking pictures in front of rented Lambos and saying that they've done something. These are actually individuals who are doing it firsthand. Today we got on my guy, Scott Zimmerman. Say hello to the people, Scott.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Scott, we're glad to have you on today, man. If you don't mind, Scott, we like for people to hear from the source, man. So if you don't mind, share with them, basically who you are and what you do.
Okay. As you can see, my name is Scott Zimmerman. I'm a 30-year, been in the insurance business for 30 years, financial services field. Our firm, Corp Strat, we specialize in employee benefits, HR, payroll for companies. And my real specialty for the last 30 years is life insurance, long-term care insurance, and disability insurance for business owners and individuals.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Scott. And, for those who are listening to this, and especially our business owners out there who are listening to this and entrepreneurs, hey, you want to hedge your bet, so to speak. You want to take calculated risk. So if it's just some term or whatever it is that works best for you, make sure that you get insured. I know it looks great for that prospect that you're buying a T-bone steak for and the whole nine, but if you could just allocate a little bit of those funds or whatnot to be able to just get you a policy set up for you and your family. So in the unfortunate incident, if something happened, whether it's a COVID situation, a plane situation, whatever it is, you want to leave your family, your business in better shape or whatnot. By making sure that you're protected. So gentlemen like Scott Zimmerman and women as well out there who are able to serve in that capacity, I'm telling you, really, I had heard a story, Scott, and I know you can identify with this. He's a good friend of mine and a mentor. He was sharing about his brother-in-law who messed around that kept on thinking he's going to make it back up. That salesperson type of mentality. I might have had a bad quarter, maybe a little down stretch, but, I'm going to come back until you went to an unexpected doctor appointment, thinking he just had a little cough and end up, I think he had cancer or something like that ended up passing away and didn't get back out. But the thing that was unfortunate more than just the cancer part was him knowing that he could have just had a little bit of insurance that could have left his family in better shape. Fortunately, he had a rich brother-in-law and sister-in-law who was able to help out, but he knew just from a man's perspective, he knew he was going to transition, but knowing that he didn't do the things that he needed to do, just at least put his family a little bit better ahead with just some type of insurance would have helped out. If you don't mind, could you, Scott, just speak to some of the things that you've experienced yourself? And take some of these business owners and entrepreneurs who are listening to this particular show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you made just a really good point. Is so many people that are busy working on their business. They're taking care of that part of it, and they're of course taking care of their families, but they're not. And most people never think anything's going to happen to them. And hopefully, look, we're all going to go eventually, but hopefully it's old age. But it's so simple. And I've seen so many stories of people that have had insurance that things have happened to and people that don't. But it's so simple to get life insurance nowadays, especially during COVID. I got to tell you, you can get up to $5 million of life insurance with a lot of companies with no exam. It's a phone interview with the insurance company. I'm not saying get $5 million. I'm just making a point. It's never been easier. And insurance doesn't have to be expensive. It can be really inexpensive. So it's kind of for people that aren't doing it because they don't want to pay for it or don't want to go through it, it's easy. It can be really inexpensive. And it's just peace of mind, taking care of the people you love. I mean, that's really what it's all it is love insurance when you think about it. And can I say one more thing? Yeah. I got to tell you, and a lot of people, I only mentioned this a few times because some people get upset, but it drives me crazy when I see, who's not on social media, a GoFundMe page for a family because the spouse didn't leave an inexpensive life insurance policy. And now they're going to GoFundMe to say, hey, everybody help me out, which of course I help out people too, but they didn't have to do that. You can get insurance and it's easy and it's inexpensive and just the right thing, peace of mind.
And I'm with you though with that, Scott. That's totally right. I mean, it's not, but it is a certain thing called abuse. And I think that with, even though it can be a positive with GoFundMe or whatnot, but just being totally irresponsible and then putting it on other people is selfish too. So we just got to call a spade as well.
Right.
If someone needs it, yeah, that's great. But if you just willingly just don't do anything and you don't care, why should you think somebody else should be able to pick up the slack? I mean, that's just only right when we look at that. And, and Scott, speaking of that, of taking, responsibility for your actions, kind of got us, how did you get into the insurance industry? I mean, I'm telling you, you're a talented guy. We hear the depth in some of the things that you're already sharing. So what was the behind the scenes story of what was the turn of events that, that led you to being on the path that you're on right now?
Okay. I've been asked this a few times that, how did I get into life insurance? Like who says they're going to grow up and be a life insurance person? I sell life insurance. But what happened really is, I'll try and make it a really short story, but when I was 19 years old, I bought my very first car, and my dad went and co-signed for me. And when he was co-signing, my parents did not have a lot of money. They had very little. I had a job. I was working. I was paying for this inexpensive Suzuki Samurai, the worst car ever. But anyway, when I went home that night, I just was really worried, like, gosh, if something happens to me, they're going to be stuck with this car payment. How are they ever going to pay for this car payment? So a friend of mine at the time at 19, he worked with his father, and I went to him and said, how much is a life insurance policy? In case something happens to me, my parents can have this money for this inexpensive, crappy car. But I bought this very small life insurance policy. And, I was going to school and working at the time. The next year, I was in a finance class. I learned about IRAs, retirement accounts. So I called that same guy, a friend of mine. I said, do you do these? Yeah, it's $25. I said, I'll do $25 a month and do it. Great. Next year, I bought another life insurance policy. And he said, hey, man, you obviously believe in this stuff. You should come and check it out. And his dad was the manager of this insurance agency. And at the time, they'll sign up anybody to be an agent because it's straight commission. So signed me up. I became an agent. And, it took me many years to figure this business out. So, yeah, it took me about 3 years before I really got it going. But that's how I got started. Just believing in the product myself, buying it, and knowing that I believed in it, and I got a job, and I just really figured it out over the last 30 years.
And you know what? That's the longevity, the long game, Scott, because some people, they would have got into it and realized, like, whoa, I have to figure this out. So they would have been, just like a hop, they would have been hopping from one business, one industry to the next. Forsaking themselves of any success because they're not known in their industry. They're not known as a market leader, which is why we have this particular show. And so I want those who are paying attention to this to understand that some of the benefits that you see that Scott has now is because he put the work in. He bootstrapped it. He had to be willing to learn the industry. Oh, yeah, you heard the dirty C word. Commission-based. Yes, you heard that. He signed up anyway and was willing to take the lumps or whatnot to have his pocket set fat like the clumps. No pun to Eddie Murphy right there or whatnot. But but when I'm looking at this, Scott, let's talk about the mental fortitude, because every business owner, every entrepreneur, every salesperson, even a college student, for you to make it at the time of this recording is around late part of the year, November. Some people are dealing with midterms or getting ready to do finals. Even if it's online, it still can be a stressful time with plenty of anxiety. So talk to us as far as when things aren't looking perfect. You didn't have a guarantee that it was going to work out. You're dealing with rejection quite a bit because everyone is just not saying, sign up, let me give you my money or whatnot for a life insurance policy. So Scott, take us through some of those moments and how did you overcome those moments?
Wow, I'll tell you, I really loved the business when I got into it. I didn't understand it. I was failing like crazy. And I remember, just before I tell you, I remember every Sunday back in the day when you get a newspaper, every Sunday looking through those want ads going, there's got to be an easier way. There's got to be an easier way. And I just stuck with it. And what I really did to make it work is on weekends. I'm not kidding. It was like every Monday night and every Saturday I delivered pizzas. And that's why I had extra money. And then my friend of mine had a janitorial company, and I was cleaning 2 other nights of the week. I was cleaning office buildings. It was horrible, but I didn't want to give up because I had some mentors that I saw just being successful, really helping people out. And I was 22 years old getting started, right? Man, I was 25 years old delivering pizzas. I mean, it was like, it took me a long time, but it just, you get older, and obviously you can see I got some gray hair, and that helps too. But you just get time under your belt, you get comfortable, and you just keep moving, and something kind of just clicks after a while if you don't give up, right? It was not easy. It was not easy, and it's still, gosh, man, 30 years, I still work really hard. I got a nice office. I got 2 business partners. There's 30 of us now, and still a lot of work. It's still a lot. Yeah, but I think it's just sticking with it and not giving up on yourself. So that's what I would say in any business. I talk to my own kid. My kids are both in their 20s now. They both graduated college. I'm just like, you got to work on it. You can't give up. But
wow,
that's what I would say.
Well, Scott, when you say that, it reminds me of the great quote from someone that I studied from afar through the literature or whatnot, and even videos on YouTube with Jim Rohn. He says, "Don't wish for it to get better. It's not. Don't wish for it to get easier. You just get better." And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, and that's the same thing that I'm hearing with you in a nutshell. For those who are listening to this, Scott is telling us about the importance of perseverance. You have to be able to endure, or for those with another lane, I'm speaking a little Christianese there, but don't grow weary in well doing. And so when we listen to this, you got to stand the test of time, and then you keep moving forward. I just had someone just recently, Scott, just share the same thing. That sent a referral, and I know you know about this. Is why I'm bringing this up, and we're getting ready to segue into something else. But it was a referral sent because the person said, "I know that you are legit because you keep showing up to the industry." It gets to a point, you keep showing up. I know you to be able to do this one thing. It's not, I'm trading stocks one minute, I'm selling insurance the next minute, I got a dirt removing place the next minute. Not saying you don't have to do different things, but in the marketplace, people are looking at how you show up. And if you stay consistent, then all of a sudden they're like, we need insurance, honey. Oh, Scott, yeah, we met him at the lacrosse game, or we met him at the soccer game and whatnot. Yeah, I think we got a card, or I can Google him and look at him online. And so those of you who are listening to this with Scott, he's really giving you the secret to the sauce, that it's not as easy as just one funnel away, not knocking anybody. There's some things that you can't just think that you're going to microwave and it's just going to happen. You got to pay your dues or whatnot. And as you continue to get better, you become more comfortable. And what happens? You're confident. So the other people, you exude that, you pass that energy on. And now you've also did a great job for those who you're serving. Now they're referring you. Now you're working hard, yes, on yourself and to continue to get better with the company. But then you have what I like to say, easier deals, because you don't have to cold call or reach out to someone. It's easier if someone has already referred you. Hence why we have referrals on podcasts, on iTunes, when they ask, could you please write a testimonial, or could you please get on Amazon and give us a review? Because it's easier to be able to have higher conversions when you're serving people the right way. So Scott, can you talk to that? Because not only did you stay in business, for you to be in business the amount of time that you have, I know that quality service had to be a part of it, and referrals had to be a good part of your business, especially in the insurance industry. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, I would say you're saying something really important, because in my field, just probably like a lot of fields, there's certain, gosh, man, life insurance, there's so many different companies. I can bring you a company, another agent can bring a company, but you want to always, it isn't in any industry, just always, instead of looking at commission, I always look at putting people with the right product that fits their wants and their needs, not ever looking at commission, because I know I'm always going to get paid, right? I serve them, I do the right thing, and in return, of course, I get paid, but that just causes me to get referrals, because I'm always, anybody should be going over and above service, return phone calls, show up on time, say please and thank you, just doing everything that we're taught in life, right? If you do those things, I just noticed, not saying I'm the most successful guy in the world, but good things happen if you do the right thing. That's one thing I instill on my kids all the time. Always do the right thing. If you think you have to question if it's the right thing, it's the wrong thing, right? Just do the right thing. So I would say always put the client's interest first beside yourself. And that would I always will live like that, because I can sleep at night knowing I did the right thing. And in return, I think that's what helps out in business.
And Scott, I mean, the information that you're giving us today, and I know some of them are thinking to themselves, oh, wow, man, Scott and them telling this, but they're waiting on this big secret. Scott, I can attest to this, buddy. And like I said, we've been able to meet for the first time here, whatnot, virtually. But I can't tell you how many deals that I've been able to close, all because of my background, how I've been raised. And what you say with your kids, I'm telling my kids the same thing. Thank you. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I know everybody in this modern age of whatnot, everybody think, oh, you old folk here. It doesn't matter. Hey, brother, the bottom line, it matters.
Yeah.
Because it's been certain deals that people, the only reason they use the service with me is how they was treated, the level of respect, how I operated with integrity with them. That's, like you said, being on time, being respect, the things that most people throw out the door because they're looking at, how can I get a Facebook ad? You can have the Facebook ads. I'm not saying that you don't use resources or have tools, but at the end of the day, can you deliver on what you say you can? Are you a person that's responsible? Can you show up on time? Are you respectful? Can you do those type of things? And Scott, I'm telling you, to me, that's a part of the secret sauce right there. Those secret ingredients that I think that people are throwing the baby out with the bath water, so to speak, that we're missing those areas. We're missing those soft skills. So if you're listening to this, don't just bypass what me and Scott is sharing, what we're sharing with you today, because you can have someone with more degrees than a thermometer, but you just knowing how to treat people the way you want to be treated. And it's going to open up doors for you, man, that you could never even imagine. It could be just simple as, like you said, Scott brought it up earlier. It's a myriad. It's several types of insurance companies. But if he gives you the one that aligns up best with you, but what doesn't come with every one of those companies is Scott. So if I trust Scott and I know that he's a person that has morals of someone who at least I can respect because he does the little things right, it's just like for those who need a sports analogy. It's a game of inches. So if you keep those chains rolling, you might not score a touchdown or hit a home run right at bat. But if you keep getting to first base, if you keep getting first downs, sooner or later you will score. And, speaking of scoring, Scott, I've heard you bring up the 30 of you now. I heard about some business partners and things like that. So could you talk to us about the component of being able to have team building? To be able to grow exponentially. So you're not just a solopreneur or just being a technician, but the power of collaboration and partnerships. Can you talk about how that's been instrumental in your life?
Yeah. I hope I'm going to answer your question correctly, but I would say what I noticed, and look, I worked by myself for years, like, I'm going to make it up 5, 6, 7 years. And I was doing everything. I was the secretary. But when I was getting so busy, someone said, you got to hire somebody. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to part with the money. But once I hired somebody and I was relieving myself of things I'm not really good at, and I should be doing just what I'm best at, my business just moved. And then, I hired another person that just it got to the point where I was able to just do what I do best, which is meet with clients and et cetera. But having a partner about 24 years ago, I got together with a guy. His name's Marty Levy. That's my business partner, and we came in together. And then let's say I had 3 people, and he had 3. Now we're 6. And over the years, we just have grown because we've grown, and we add people to service our clients. So they're just getting. We want to be irreplaceable to our client. If we're doing employee benefit, for instance, and there's 100 employees in a company. We don't want another broker to come in because, believe it or not, it's the same exact dollar amount. If you have Anthem Blue Cross, we're your broker, and somebody else shows you Anthem Blue Cross, it's identical to the penny. identical. So we want to be irreplaceable so that people don't want to go to other people, for better service. We want to offer everything we can. So I would say the growth comes from service, taking care of your clients, knowing that, and all of our people, they know the reason why we have that they're here to have a job and they help us is because they're servicing our clients, and our clients are their clients, and that's how we all get paid. And we can live and have homes and cars and health insurance and retirement plans because of our clients. So it's not about, that's what it's all about, is service. So that's how we've grown. We've actually, since COVID, we've gone down a few. Like, look, we're only half the people here. We don't have a receptionist anymore. A couple salespeople left. But so we're higher, but now we're down to 30. But it's a nice, tight knit, close family. We like everything. We have 5 core values. I don't know if I'm going to remember them all. You want me to tell you them real quick? Okay, this is a company. First one is teamwork, and that's with working with each other. Passionate learners, and we talk about this every single week. Passionate learners. Our industry is changing. Always stay on top of what you can learn, and we talk about motivational things and smart things, but passionate learners. We call it the Corp Strat golden rule, which is what I already said: show up on time, say please and thank you, do what you say you're going to do. Forgetting what they are, but there's 5 of them. I talk about them every week. But anyway, that's what we talk about. That's how we I think we stick together as a team.
Yeah, you got to have those core values, because like you said, I know that's what we do in our company as well, and it keeps everyone in alignment. And so, part of it is one of my favorite core values of our company is win-wins. And so, and that's on all parties. So, whether it's the team member, it's not just for the client, and it's not just for them with me, but it's win-wins for everyone. So when you think of a mind as something, the law of reciprocity is big for the organization. So if you just thinking selfish, like you was talking about earlier, if you're just thinking commission or looking at someone as a dollar sign, then that's not beneficial. But if you look at it, I get compensated to help people, that's a win-win. And so I think it's beneficial for all parties that's involved. And, Scott, speaking of this too, because I want to be respectful of your time, could you add the family component? So how is it, because I know you said you got 2 college graduates or whatnot. So how has that been with building the business and also, being an awesome dad as well? How was you able to juggle that part, man?
I tried, but I want to mention before I forget the other 2. That's when the client's interest first. That's one of our other core values.
Okay.
Client's interest first. And I just want to remember the other one, a great attitude. Great attitude with all of us in our team and a great attitude with our clients. Okay. So back to being a good dad or family. I think one of the things, and I got really lucky. My wife, I went to work and she allowed me to work, and she stayed home and took care of the kids and did all the kids stuff. Not that of course I was home every night for dinner, unless I had appointments, but I just thought we really had a good teamwork. So that's been really good with the family. And raising kids, and they would see how I think my kids, and I've been lucky because it didn't necessarily, they're still young, 24 and 22, but I think they saw how hard I worked, and they graduated college in 4 years, and they're really hard workers. I don't know if it's from me or they just have it. Some people just have it in them that you're kind of not that. I'm kind of a hustler, hustling in the right way. Like I hustle, right, but the right way. I think my kids have done that. I got really fortunate, but we have a lot of people here that have kids, and we have the kids come in, and Marty and I will do talks to them whenever we get the opportunity, and we're always talking about those things. Like you want to work for things. Some people have money, and you don't want to not everything's a handout. I think a lot of kids nowadays, they have their hands out. They don't want to work for it. They see the internet. They see people with cars and fancy houses which aren't even real, most of them. So I just think that's how with the family, I think it's watching what we do as parents. If the kids watch what we do and we enforce that to them, I think it's a way to breed successful kids. Yeah. Not always going to work, though. Not always going to work, but you try, right?
Hey, it's worth the try. It's worth the try, Scott. So I'm real big on that with mine too as well. We have that in common. I always teach them the power of having a work ethic, man, the power of attitude, your attitude to determine your altitude or whatnot. How you're showing up, how you present yourself. I mean, your network, you can point fingers all you want to, but that goes along to, accountability, so, birds of a feather flock together. So if everybody around you are doing certain things, then, it's not their fault, you're a part of it too. So, in regards to that, and it's the same thing is being affiliated in a positive way. So if you're around great individuals, like I get the privilege of being around the great Scott Zimmerman, then, saying, hey, I'm doing great as well or whatnot. And you're able to have mutual friends or whatnot. So that's how we were able to even get onto this particular show with each other. So I want those who are listening to what Scott is sharing, this is very important. It's imperative to get around the right people. And whether it's just serving, it might not even be for those who are just so consumed. And I know I don't want to get all esoteric or whatnot. And like Darren, you and Scott are talking like people don't have responsibilities. They don't have payroll. They don't have budgets and things like that. No, I'm not saying it, guys or gals. But what I am saying is that if you got a thirst, if you're just all about yourself, I mean, people can pick up on that. Like you're not fooling anyone. I mean, and you forfeit a true, genuine relationship of somebody who actually cares. And it might not even be something with me. It might just be where I got one of my daughters might be thinking about going to college in California somewhere. And, it might be a relationship that I have with Scott that he knows someone over there that could help them get a tutor while they're in school. Look at the benefit of that. And so that's what we're saying about not being shallow, like how when you get a great opportunity to meet amazing people, just lead with service and know that the rest is going to take care of itself. And that might be something you can pick up or glean from them that you can actually invest. So it might not be, where they're pouring something in you financially. It could be something where you can benefit from their wisdom or connection, or just something that your kids or grandkids might could benefit from at another time by that connection. What are your thoughts on the networking component, Scott?
Gosh, it's so funny you say that. I think personally that it's one. I agree. I think it's one. I've heard different people say it, but it's like you end up being like the five people you hang around, one of those type of things. And I believe it. And I think, look, I have mixed emotions on it. I feel I want to hang out with people that I want to be like, not because they have money, not meaning that way, just meaning good people. Maybe they're fun to be with, whatever the situation is. I want to hang out with people I want to be like. So I do notice that and even it happens with kids, when you hang around the wrong crowd, that's when you're kind of you can do the wrong things. If you're hanging around good, not that everybody's bad, but look, it's not about money. It's about people to me. And I think my network is what, truth of the matter is, that's what's made me somewhat successful, is I hang around good people that are like-minded, and we do the same type of things. We do. Maybe it's, just hanging around the right, and things come and you get referred to people who are like-minded, and then your network grows, and we're all kind of like the same. Not that and again, it's not about money to me. Money just comes because you're doing the right thing. But I think network is huge. Yeah, I'm a big component. I talk to not to talk about my kids a lot. I always talk about with my kids, even when they were little. I said, listen, I'm saving everything I can for college for you. I want you to go to the best possible school, even if you're the dumbest one in the school, because I think the people, if you hang out with the smart ones, that's what you're going to be, or you're going to be like. So anyway, that was my thought. So I've always put that, so.
I love it, Scott, because you're bringing up some points that you have to get this. I mean, for those who are listening to this, you have to get this, because it could be just one idea. You could just be in a circle or connected to someone who can allow for you to hear something. You could even hear them talking to someone else, and it'd be a paradigm shift, and that could just help you be better. Like I'm hearing from Scott. Okay, he got 2 graduates. I'm not there yet. But I've already been poured into with this interview on some things to focus in on, or some things that I might be questioning. Now I'm able to double down on, because the benefit of the work ethic and the understanding that, hey, it's going to work out. So wherever you might be indecisive, you can get clarity. I love this quote: wherever you have clarity of vision, you have acceleration to the known goal. And so if you're in fog, you're going to slow down. When the fog removes, you're able to, press the metal or whatnot, because you're able to go ahead and hit the gas because you got clarity of vision. You don't have to be indecisive. And that's what Scott is sharing with us too as well. When you get around people, and the money is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of you doing things you need to do and being around the right people and having the right energy and having the right attitude or whatnot. And so when you think about that, that's the value. The value is the human capital. And one wise man shared this with me, Scott. The difference between contacts and contracts is the letter R, and that's for relationships. So at the end of the day, they both start with C's, but the difference between contacts and contracts is the letter R, and they're for relationships. So no matter who you are, and I'm from the South, so we call it the good old boy network, but I'm telling everyone, I mean, they try to make it like it's a negative, but the truth is, good old boy network is really your network is your net worth. You need to get you a good old boy network, whoever you are. You need to have a network of individuals that are positive, that you're moving forward in the same direction. It could be different industries, different passions, but the main thing y'all got in common is that everyone is focused on growth and being better, and they are in alignment. And I guarantee you that collective effort will help everyone grow exponentially in whatever capacity that they're looking at doing. And so I know Scott is doing that. And, Scott, if you don't mind, if someone is listening and it's like, OMG, I know I should have did this. I don't need to wait until 2021. Do you have any information? Now, I will make sure that we have this in the show notes, but while we're on here recording, do you have a website or social media handles or any information how they can get in contact with you and your team?
Yeah. Do you want me just to tell you what they are?
Yeah. Just tell us what they are.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions or anybody's interested in getting into insurance and wants to pick my brain wherever you are in the country, feel free to reach out to me. Our website's corpstrat.com. It's CORPSTRAT, corpstrat.com. I'm Scott. My email is scott@corpstrat.com. My office number is 818-377-7260. I'm extension 111. I'm on the Facebook and the Instagram, and if anybody wants to reach out to me, that'd be great. And I want to serve. That's what I'm here for. So again, if anybody has any questions, not trying to sell insurance, but that comes up too, they want to at least pick my brain about insurances, I'm here for you.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, Scott, could you share with us the handle in your social media handles if you can?
Yes. Okay. Scott Zimmerman, believe it or not, is an extremely popular name. I don't know any other Scott Zimmermans, but if you type in Google, I'm on page 40. That's how many Scott Zimmermans are.
Oh, okay.
But, on Facebook, I'm just you can look at Scott Zimmerman and see my face. Instagram is Scott A Zim, and then LinkedIn is also just Scott Zimmerman. I think it's 18. I remember correctly.
Okay, that's not a problem. Yeah, I knew that because that name is somewhat popular on social media or whatnot. So at least wanted to make sure I had your Instagram lined out. And then just Scott A Zim, or do we spell the whole last name?
No, Scott A Zim. I'm telling you, I wish I could get anything close to my name, but I couldn't.
Oh, so, no, not a problem. Is that 2 M's or just 1 M on that?
1 M.
1 M. Okay. We got you in there, Scott, man. We definitely appreciate you coming in. And if you don't mind, Scott, before we get off, could you please just share some parting piece of advice for those who might be like the young Scott, where they got into a role, it's a vehicle, they don't have it figured out yet, they haven't gotten their legs up under them, they're dealing with the pandemic. I can't go door to door anymore. Or I can't minister to the congregation like I used to, or I was furloughed. I'm looking at starting over or learning a new skill set, and I'm in a new industry, and I don't have a ton of leads. What could you share with that person, going back to where you started at, on the right mindset of some of the things that they should keep in mind as they embark on this new journey?
Okay, I'm gonna give this is just my mindset. My mindset is, times are different than when I got started, obviously, because social media and whatnot. But I would say if somebody's getting into an industry new or they're struggling, I would, and I want to say this much. In my industry, people are slow. Not a lot of people are buying things nowadays. I'm so busy because I have real passion for what I do. I believe in what I do, and I talk about it. I don't try to sell anything. It's people, but I'm talk about it a lot, and because I believe in it. I think you should have passion for what you do. Always trying to do the right thing. If you're struggling, there's so much now with social media where you can give out free information. That's what people want. It's just information, not trying to sell. If you don't try and sell, I think that's what people really appreciate, is like just information. And if they're interested, they're going to come and see, right? But it's giving out as much information as possible, being of service. If somebody wants to get in a new field, I would always say, really research it. Maybe find a role model that's in that field and piggyback on what they're doing. Ask them questions. People want to help. So how did you do it? If you're being a loan broker, how did you do it? How do you get your clients? What do you do? What do you say? And I think all those little things make life easier. If you try and do it on your own, it's really hard, especially when you're a young kid in your 20s or early 30s. It's tough out there right now, but it's definitely doable. I think opportunity today is just as good before COVID. That's my opinion. I think it's so much opportunity out there. Yeah, I want more. I mean, it's like I feel like there's opportunity. You know why? One more thing I want to say, Darren, why I think there's so much opportunity? Because so many people aren't doing anything, right?
There you go.
Sitting down, they're not doing. This is opportunity. It's like, my gosh, people, you should be doing something because people aren't doing it. You're going to be seen. So,
there you go. There you go. There you go. See what the alignment is. I see how we got connected now. So that's the same thing. We have been rolling, man, far as putting content out, servicing people, and we're able to stand out more because, like you said, everyone else has took this as a sabbatical, waiting for everything. I don't know what they're calling it, waiting on it to pass over or whatever they're doing, but do what you can do. And so many people have just took it like it was a spring break in Cancun or something. It is kind of just binge watching Netflix, eating up pies and hot Cheetos, and like we're in here getting it and aligning with people, building relationships, and and we're stronger. And so even like this conversation right now, I've been in San Diego, LA a few times or whatnot. Even during this time, we've been doing deals to be back out not too long. But like you said, we've been able to take more market share because most people have had their head buried in the sand. And so it worked out for us, thank God, and so I totally agree with you. And, Scott, if you don't mind too, I'm going to make sure that our program coordinator reach out to you. I want to make sure to get my personal information too as well, because I would love to, I know we're doing this episode for a show with you, but I'd love to have you be part of at least a virtual conference and some other things that we have going on where we can go deeper, because the mindset that you have and the things that you've been able to accomplish, I think is really beneficial for some of those audience, for some of the other programming that we have.
Love the opportunity, and I appreciate it, Darren.
Anytime. Well, you have the information. We'll make sure the information is all in the show notes. Go to corkstrat.com. You'll be able to find my guy on IG for all those IG fans, at Scott A. Zim, Z-I-M, on Instagram. And plus, we will have his other information for his other platforms, social media platforms, in the show notes. But Scott, man, once again, brother, I thank you for coming on. Tons of value, man. I like to call him a humble killer, so to speak, in a good way. He is an executor. He executes. He has vision. He has goals, but he don't just let them sit there and be like, oh, that would be nice. He's actually out there making it happen. He's doing this interview today. He's reaching, it's people who didn't know about Scott today, just knowing about Scott because he took the time to say, I want to touch more lives. I want to be more of service. And he's not just saying it, he's taking action. And that's why you continue to see him touch lives and have success in his own personal life. So Scott, man, thanks again for coming on to Market Leader Live.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
No doubt, my man. Well, for those who are tuned in, those who are listening, remember, if you want change, be the change. Until next time, be blessed and be great.